Surprisingly enough, we're on Jagannatha for the first game of this best of 5, and in the top right-hand corner is where the Blue Zerg is currently spawning. Playing for Dragon Phoenix Gaming. Lots of good players in this team, huh? It is Rogue.
And spawning here at the bottom left. Also has a lot of nice, solid, great teammates himself. He is from a Freak of Freaks. It is Keen. Alright, TVZ here on Jagannatha.
Yep. Better known as Zergannatha. Alright. Yeah, like... I'm so surprised this map was the first map of the series. Of course, this map has been chosen by Rogue, by the way.
Of course.
I've seen Keen Vita 2000 atmospheres. I don't know what the other Vita is because I don't speak Korean. Yeah, but I can read numbers, so I can read 2000. And it was one of the Vitas of Keen. Of course, there's just one Vita each. I meant I don't know what Rogue Vita, sorry. But I'm actually surprised he didn't Vita Jagannatha. Like, Rogue is he's the best Air Zerg player. Like, he's the best Spire player in the world. Hands down. Getting him on the first map on Jagannatha, it's very often a death sentence. Let's be honest.
You know what? I think possibly the other Vito might have been Beckett Industries, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely possible. Like,
yeah.
I wouldn't have not been surprised to see the two Vitos being Jagannatha and Beckett Industries. I'm incredibly surprised it was 2000 Atmospheres instead.
Now, of course, Rogue, recently, of course, I guess most recent GSL Code S champion, has recently gone for more of a Roach play. Very, very weird, because you would think that Roach play isn't the greatest, especially in 2021. Maybe it would have been, you know, the go-to choice like maybe 10 years ago. But over the years, like, Zerg players has kind of swayed away from Roach play and gone for more of a lurker type play, or maybe a Ling Baneling Mutalist play.
Yeah. It's also a little bit of a clash between European style and Korean style, with Korean style actually being much more rush heavy in all matchups, and European style being mostly Baneling heavy, I'd say. It's really mostly a matter of preference. Like, we've seen players such as Su make their whole history due on one of those styles. Like, Su is the ultimate rush player, and Rogue is instead this player who always has an year in which he completely changes his playstyle. Like, last year it was Nidus all over the place. This year it really looks like his rushes.
And I'm not sure why. I mean, maybe it's because there's the ever-swinging meta where, you know, one particular meta is strong, and then one of I guess meta A is strong, and then meta B is weaker. But then, like, because so much you know, players practice against meta A. Oh, there's a little bit of a lag here. Who is it?
I hope it's not me. Well, was it me?
No timer thing popped up, so I'm not quite sure.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's a one-time thing and nobody is lagging here.
Yeah, it doesn't really look like my internet is giving any problems, so I don't think it's me. By the way, Keen going for something fairly aggressive. 6 aliens on one side, a full medivac on the other. That's a very early play with a Banshee behind this. It really looks like Keen wants to put some serious damage as fast as possible. And that's exactly the way you should play this map. I do love what he's doing. He's getting a lot of links, actually. Wait, that's a lot of damage. How many links did he kill?
So 12. Far 12. Well, not the worst, you know, considering.
Not the worst.
Yeah,
absolutely not.
Actually, you
It
know,
doesn't really look like Rogue is very scared though. What were you saying?
Yeah, I don't think that attack actually, you know, it was scary for a second, but I don't think it did quite as much damage as you would have liked. The Marines really didn't get too much, maybe a couple lings. The Hellbats really didn't do too much as they were fighting the Queens. And so right now, Rogue is like whopping the Keen way ahead in terms of the worker count. 57 to 43, which is pretty significant at this stage of the game.
Yeah, and that's a very early 4th base as well. It really looks like Rogue is not afraid of anything. Like, this attack hitting so early is going to mean that no timing can really get on the map before a certain mark. And that prompts Rogue into being much more greedy than he usually is. And now he's on 70 workers, he's getting a 4th base, he's getting a Spire, just as we were saying before this game. But I do feel like this 4th base is going to be cancelled. Yeah.
Oh, but these Hellions are actually trapped here. But I don't think Rogue has enough Queens here to defend both the Banshee and the Hellbats.
Yeah, he's gonna lose a couple at least before the lanes can get into business. Yeah, that is not a good position to fight. Queens out of creep move very slowly. They tend to clump up a lot. And Hellbats do deal a lot of AoE damage. So, yeah, like this is a little bit of a misposition on the side of Rogue. These Banshees are not really taking too many heads. They're just being very obnoxious. That's most of what they're doing.
Yeah, now the Banshee did spot the Spire, so at the very least it did give him some nice scouting information. But this is a Marine drop. We'll go ahead and start attacking here at the main base.
Getting a fairly significant amount of drones, actually.
Yeah, where are the lings here? Looks like no units.
Yeah, and actually Hellions eating at the fur base as well. Like, Rogue forced into making 24 lanes, and that is larva he really wanted to use on Mutas. And actually does not have larva.
Oh wow, and he has a lot of resources to make those Mutalisks, so...
Yeah, but he didn't have the Queens in position, so he does not have larva. He wasn't injecting for a lot of time.
Oh boy. It's going to give significant time for Keen to get up those anti-air defenses.
I really hope it does. Like, Keen is not really good doing that great himself. Like, he's been a little bit too slow with his taking up, mostly. But it really does feel like he's not really afraid of those mutas, mostly.
I mean, yeah, I mean, he's got doors on the way, he's got turrets on the way. These Mutalisks, there's a lot of investment in these Mutalisks. Remember, he skipped those evolution chambers for the faster Mutalisk tech. And so you can see, like, Rogue is actually really significantly behind in the upgrade. So if these Mutalisks don't get any damage, significant decent damage done, Keen is going to roll over way ahead in the upgrades, and his army, once he decides to push out with those doors and with all those upgrades, it's going to be incredibly difficult and scary for Rogue to deal with. Oh my goodness!
Whoa! That was a lot of damage. Also, like, Keen has like 25 less workers. 25, and he was mining exactly the same amount of minerals for such a long time. What a beautiful race Terran is. Just kidding, guys, by the way.
Those meals, those...
Yeah, like, he's not really... Like, he's in a position in which losing SCVs doesn't really hurt too much. He's going to be on 4 orbital commands very shortly. And that's the stage in the game which, like, you can lose 10 SCVs and be, okay, whatever, I'm gonna make some Marines. Mutas are starting to get into critical mass now. Like, it's probably time Keen actually is a little bit more afraid of this Mutas. Like, 25 is about critical mass as you can get.
Yeah, and he's trying to mass up enough doors to start moving out, because I mean, I guess even if the doors get cleaned up, there are a lot of anti-air with the Marines and the Widow Mines. So
but
he should
King
be-
is still very much pinned into his own side of the map. Rogue free to expand creep to get even as many bases as he wants. Not a great position King is right now, which means that Rogue can get into Hive Tech. But once he gets those upgrades, King can actually get something a little bit more scary on the map. Sorry for interrupting you.
Oh no, I wasn't saying anything. It's all good. All right, looks like both sides gonna have a couple of harassment. Here's with the Lings, doesn't get too much damage done. These Marines at the natural also doesn't get too much done. So it seems like, you know, these drop or run by plays has yet found any damage. Even this Baneling run by, not gonna quite get what they are looking for.
Yeah. It really does feel like it's a little bit of an upgrade race at this point. As you were saying before, like Rogue, needed to skip those evolution chambers, which is going to mean he's going to be much behind in upgrades for a little while. And that is the window of timing in which King wants to do something, but he can't because of those mutas. And it is actually starting to hurt a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. All right, these
that's a lot of Banelings. Oh. Yeah, that's a big oof for Rogue, but even then, like, this is just a crazy high amount of Banelings rolling in, getting on top of the Thors, on top of the Marines. Just an absolutely outstanding trade on the side of Rogue. King keeps his anti-air up and alive, which means that Rogue cannot clean house with his mutas. But it was still a pretty good trade overall, especially with those +3/+3 upgrades ready to kick in for the Terran player.
all right, looks like Ultralisk Den has been planted. We'll see if King gives him the time of day to get that up. Although the creep spread has been quite well done by Rogue, so that might actually buy him enough time to get those Ultralisk numbers up.
Yeah, like, Keen wasn't really able to get any good drops. Like, this is another drop on the top left that is going to be completely destroyed. And yeah, it's not like those 8 Marines are gonna really count too much as losses go. But the completing capability of clearing creep is starting to hurt a little bit. Like, these drops are all very cold, very easy to deal with for Rogue. And Keen is actually starting to spend a lot of resources into these Lost Marines, which means he's not getting into higher tech. It's Liberators on the way.
Oh, yeah. Did he scout, like...
Oh yeah, he cancelled those. I was very surprised at seeing Liberators. That's a lot of Zerg right now, guys. Like, these planetary fortress is not going to survive for long. Muta's going to go for the clean outs. The Thors are nowhere to be seen. They're very far from this position. The Rogue is just completely going rampage on this 4th base of Keen, getting a lot of heads. But Keen will defend, losing a lot of SCVs and 1 planetary fortress. Rogue freeing a lot of supply, more melee units, and especially starting to pump out the first Ultra.
Oh yeah, once those Ultralisks get onto the field, it's gonna get quite almost impossible for Keen because a lot of his units are in these Marines, not a lot of Marauder production. Now, there are still a lot of Widowmine production on the field, and if he can get kind of target fire some of these Widowmines on the Ultras, that might be able to swing the fight into his favor. But he's still significantly behind in the economy front. Again, he's behind by 40 workers. Not 10, not 20, not 30, 40 workers behind. And that is absolutely devastating.
And another thing, he's not really spending his gas in anything. Like, he's being forced... Oh my god, a Widowmine shot. Yeah, but... yeah, Rogue was all over the place.
Alright, looks like we're here on Blackburn. And... Of course, Blackburn is an interesting map, to say the least.
Yeah, the oddball of this map pool, to say the least.
Yeah, basically like the ugly duckling
Yeah.
of all maps.
I do enjoy this kind of style maps, but this one is a bit all over the place. It's hard to read. That's how I'd best define this map. It's a very hard to read map. It has a lot of possibilities, but none of them are really that appealing to me. Especially as a third player. I mean, there are lots of open areas once you get into the later stages of the game, but defending the third base is an absolute mess.
Yeah, and not to mention all these inhibitor zones.
Yeah.
There's like so much of them on this map. They're in the bottom side, they're in the middle. I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Taking control of this map is a titanic feat, really. Most players like to chill on their own side of the map instead of risking it all in the middle, since it's so incredibly risky.
All right, we do see a really quick third CC. Oh wait, yeah, third CC. I was about to say like that's quite quick, but anyhow, yeah, third quick CC. So it looks like Keen is keen on playing the macro game here against Rogue.
That quirky joke.
Hey, gotta insert some puns every now and then, right?
Absolutely. But on the other side of the map, like, you cannot get an earlier lair than a 4 minutes 5 seconds lair, and Rogue has got that.
Oh yeah, and actually taking the 4 gases as well, so it's very looking much like the meterless play.
Or even Nidus, actually.
But before he can throw down the Spire, he's going to have to try to clean up the rest of these Hellion. Not a lot of links here to defend, as a lot of the investments are into this quick Spire play.
Well, he kind of fared decently against it, lost only 5 drones. Here comes the Spire, as you've been calling. And honestly, do you like this play from Rogue?
You know what? Sometimes it's one of the builds that is very hit and miss. It kind of reminds me of the PVZ 4 Gateway a Glaive Adepts build. It's like it's very, very hit and miss. Like if you execute the Glaive Adepts timing and build, it can do a lot of damage, but if the Zerg player is on top of it and defends it, it gets shut down hard, and it's very difficult for the Protoss to kind of come back. And in this case, I feel it's like the same thing. Like, oh man, look at that scan, even scouting that Spire. So,
yeah, beautiful scan.
Yeah, I don't see this Spire play doing as significant damage, at least initially. Once like maybe the Mulus count gets to a optimal amount, then maybe he can start becoming really annoying. But there's a lot of resources invested into this, and if you're not going to be able to get damage done with these Mulus, especially with the inhibitor zones, it's like kind of deceitfully a
little bit of a bait.
Yeah, you would think like, okay, this map is really great for air, but with those inhibitor zones, actually not the best.
Yeah,
not the strongest.
It's very difficult to retreat once you go in with your air units. But there is also one other thing I think we need to say, and that is that even blind going for the 2-base Spire play with the early lair, it's a great build against an early for command center, because you pretty much have control of the map nonetheless, and Mutas just take it to a whole other stage. As you've seen, like, it's not really difficult for Rogue to fly for the map. He doesn't really have to fear about Keen doing something aggressive, because he went for this kind of build himself. It's not like he's taking very good trades, but it's not like he has been slowed down in his own side as well. Like, I think it's a blow for blow. Like the first command center early on it's very easily countered by these early spy.
Yeah, that's actually a great point, because if you're gonna go for the early Dirt CC, you're not gonna have a lot of, let's say, medevacs, at least not as quickly as you will usually have them at. So the mutalisks don't really need to stay back at home to defend against any drops. They can just pretty much go across the map. And are these mutalisks gonna get cornered? Oh man, that's actually,
It's a beautiful sandwich.
ah yeah.
Lots of blood on his hands, Keen, right now. And those mutas still pretty far from getting to the critical mass we were talking about in the previous game. And of course, upgrades are gonna be much slower as well.
Indeed. All right. Looks like we're gonna go ahead and try to keep up with the mutalisk pressure.
It's a very even game this far, but once again, I feel like Creep is getting a little bit over control.
Yeah, Keen actually hasn't really been on top of it, right? I mean, he's been basically stayed at home. Hasn't really sent out, like, even the medevac or a group of Marines to kind of snipe them down. That's one of the weaknesses I feel like Keen had, not in just
in
this
the previous
game, but also
yeah.
the previous game. Yeah.
I absolutely agree. And this is one of those maps in which it really hurts to not be able to get something on the map, just because, like I was saying before, like getting control of the middle of the map, it's really difficult on this map, but it pays off so much. And Rogue has so much control right now. It's basically going to force Keen to be on the back foot for the rest of the game, mostly.
Yeah, for the time being, Rogue is going to have the map control as well as dictate the pace of this game. And Keen, he cannot let it spill over to a long macro game, because in the long macro game, I feel like it's going to be more of a Rogue advantage. I would love to see him just go across the map, do a big timing attack, and see if he can kind of micro his way and to a victory, battle victory, and then ultimately win the war from there on.
Was a very good Widowmine shot on top of these mutas. Most of them got hurt, a couple died. Oh, but I feel like he needs much more. Like, I do agree with you. He needs to get something done on the map, and he needs to do it actually rather quickly. He's not as ahead on upgrades as he was before. This trade is absolutely not good for him, with 8 SCVs dying on the other side of the map against those mutas. And now he has to retreat as well. Like, yeah, that does hurt.
Oh my god.
A lot. Oh, wow.
No.
Whoa!
Jesus, no turrets yet? Oh my god. I would have thought he'd throw down the turret like 10 minutes ago.
He had a lot of faith on those Widowmines. And those Widowmines actually dealt a lot of damage, but they need doors to clean it up.
Oh, that's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is what was supposed to happen after that Widowmine shot. Instead, the mutas had too much time to actually retreat.
Oh man, it's kind of snowballing out of hand, Akontistes. I mean, now he's down by 30 workers.
Yeah, the other 2 tours are not really getting into the fray. Creep has been re-established into the middle of the map. And now he even has some scouting overloads, making sure no cheeky medevac flies in unchecked. And now Keen feels compelled to do something. He has a lot of army, he does not have a lot of economy.
Yeah, I feel like this may be the weakness of Keen, is that he plays too defensively. There hasn't really been like a single medevac drop to harass. And I mean, granted, you know, he did go for the early Dirt CC, so not a lot of medevacs, and also the mutalisk on the field makes it hard for medevac drop play to commence and be planned out and executed. But at the very least, he should at least go for a big timing attack of some sort to punish the Zerg for going for this mutalisk play here.
Yeah, it's a lot of things adding up together. Oh my goodness, yeah, that one NG Bay going down hurts a lot. It's a lot of things together, like one of those being, oh my goodness, these mutas are not flying out of that base. It's a lot of things adding up together. The muta play being incredibly hard to defend. Returning player after the military having to face a style that is very difficult to deal with. And most returning players do tend to be a little bit polarized into either being uber aggressive or a little bit too defensive. That's a pattern we've seen in all returning players. And now Rogue is absolutely exploding this in a very dirty way with his mutants.
Oh yeah, but this is Keen's chance. I mean,
Yeah. If there's one chance, it's now.
Yeah, it's now, because the economy is going to become extremely difficult for Keen to overcome, and he is right now ahead by 24 army supply.
Beautiful double army control by Keen, actually getting full control on the bottom side and forcing this Muta out with a very clean maneuver on the top right hand side. Now towards burying the way with the Marines being able to pre-split, but there's so many lanes out. The upgrades were even, and that hurts a lot. Still, Keen has a fairly decent sized army here on the Zerg side. He's going to take this archery. I don't feel like he can walk on creep, but he's still gonna bite back. That's something.
Yeah, at the very least, he got some damage done. I mean, at least he took down the hatchery, and he's going to be able to survive with these doors, repair them back up, send them out back into the field, and possibly get a nice engagement once again. This time around, the upgrades, it looks like actually the upgrades are going to be still in favor of Keen, so for the time being, he will enjoy that.
Absolutely agree with Cynical Death in the chat. I can't wait for Hero and Gumio to be back.
Oh yeah.
Like, those are two of my favorite players of all time. So unique. Such a great playstyle, both of them. Can't wait to see how they fare. Especially Gumio.
Yeah, I mean, the Terran scene in Korea is already like pretty great right now. And then to add in Gumaho on top of that, oh boy, that's going to be a ton of Terran players that are going to do so well.
The ultimate mech player. Like, even adding up a newer, not a newer, like a different playstyle to the board, which is Gumio's playstyle, which is this incredibly heavy mech style.
Yeah, now
it's very interesting.
Yeah, for sure. Also, Classic. Sushi just mentioned in the chat. Classic is also coming back in 2 months, so we're gonna have ourselves, even those stats going away, and not so a little bit less in the Protoss. At least we'll have Hero and Classic to come back and kind of bolster the Protoss front. Although, like Sushi also mentioned, there's going to be adjustment period because they're not going to come back into form like it did pre-military form.
Yeah, absolutely. But Classic, like, he was popping off before going into the military, so it's another of those players I'm incredibly excited to see come back. Oh, that's a lot of banelings.
Let's get a nice zoom shot on this. This deserves a nice zoom shot there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, Keen is not really in control of this game anymore. Rogue is basically doing whatever he wants because he just has so much gas.
Yeah, this is basically Rogue playing with his food. He's just throwing banelings waves after banelings and just dwindling.
This feels like a campaign mission.
Oh man.
Beautiful back by Keen, actually getting an archery.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that to happen.
Yeah, but Akontistes says, look at the million other hatcheries out there.
Yeah.
I don't think Rogue is sweating too much on losing that one hatchery. I think he's like, you know what? I'll give you that hatchery. So I'm gonna take
even having creep on the top right. Like, Keen cannot get a 5th base.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, Rogue is completely in control of this game. It really does feel like a brutal mission of Wings of Liberty right now, in which you have to defend against the never-ending waves of Zerg.
Oh man, that is kind of a little, I guess, depressing for Keen here, as he's been doing. I mean,
he's holding like a king actually. Like, this has not been an easy game for Rogue, in my mind. Like, he's really finding damage, he's really taking control of the map easily and all this stuff together, but he's not finding a way to end Keen, which says a lot about Keen. Bringing a fight to Rogue, it's actually much more than I was expecting.
Well, at the very least, he will last to the 18-minute mark as we approach our 18th minute. But yeah, Rogue does not look like he's quite settled on how to close out this game. I think he's just continuously kind of gonna drain Keen out till he's mined out. And you know, I wouldn't even be surprised if Rogue himself took that 1 o'clock base. It would be so funny.
Like closer reinforcements. Advantage.
That's hilarious.
And now Rogue also breaking the rocks leading to the quotes island base, which is not really an island. You make sure Keen does not take that. Really trying to bring map control to a whole other level. Sending another wave of ultras and banelings, gonna do a lot of damage. This time Keen does not have enough stuff back front to tank those baneling shots, which are going to go on top of ghosts, and that hurts a lot. But once again, Keen survives.
Yeah, you know what? You know, as I see this, I mean, Rogue, he's not doing so well in terms of the gas count. I mean, he doesn't have like a crazy bank, so if Rogue is a little bit too careless, I mean, again, he's got so much economy that he can afford to be inefficient, but
yeah,
he doesn't want to take it too far.
He's collecting 3 times the gas that Keen is.
Oh, Jesus.
That is something. Finally, a little bit of a quick spread is going to be sent back in, even spreading a couple of Widowmines on the top right to gain control of this side of the map again. Actually sending an orbital command to take this base. Meanwhile though, Rogue is sending a lot of ultras and banelings in the middle. Ghosts are gonna take short work of those ultras. And you know what? That's not the worst trade possible for Keen. He's losing a lot of SCVs, but he has a lot of orbital commands. He can afford that. Once again, the problem is gas. Ghosts are not easily replaceable, and he does not have like a ton of them.
Yeah, but you know what? Rogue doesn't have a ton of gas either, so, I mean, who knows? Maybe if Keen can kind of hold on for the next couple of minutes, maybe, you know, once he start establishing that top right base, start getting some additional gas and minerals, maybe he can kind of, you know, go up to an army that, you know, like a 200 army and move out across the map. But still, that is a lot of links here, and there's not a lot to defend. There's not a planetary.
That's a lot of ghosts, which are not going to fare that great against links. That's still a lot of marines, +3 marines. Can do a lot. It's not easy for Rogue to get free damage. And by free, I mean he does have to spend a lot of resources to get damage. But even then, he can't afford it. Like, he's not really caring about losing this much. Once again, another wave. Lots of dead ultras. But banelings are gonna be able to almost get on top of these ghosts. Almost not enough. Still going to mean that 15 workers are going to die for Keen. And now he's on 37. And it's time for Corruptors, which probably means it's about to be time for a Great Aspire.
Yeah, I think leaning too much on this Ling Baneley Ultralist is not going to quite do it yet. So as he's transitioning to Broodlord, that might be like the closing unit right there. Because really there's not a lot of anti-Broodlord tech out on the field.
Yeah, there's ghosts, but yeah, they do not have enough range, really. Thors, not really high enough in numbers. There's still a lot of lanes on the ground. Not a lot of economy to replace those units, even if Rogue decides to trade somewhat not really carefully. But it does really feel like those corruptors are mostly for liberators. I might have done the wrong call. He's not going to be a Great Aspire. Not yet, at least. So Rogue is still going to rely mostly on his ground army. He doesn't have a lot of Banelings this time, though. He just mostly... Oh, yeah, he has a lot of Banelings.
Oh, my God.
Just all of the ghosts. Yeah, that was a beautiful engagement.
Yeah, all those ghosts clumped up at the corner. Banelings get on top of absolutely every single ghost. And this might just be it. Keen does survive to the 23-minute mark, but there is just really not a lot left here for our Red Terran.
Yeah, losing 34 workers, which basically amounts to the remainder of the economy yet. And now he's trying to stay back in this game, mostly for practice, I feel. There's not really a way in which he can win this game. Oh, the one single sport crawler killed the medivac. And Keen is going to say, okay, I get it, I'm out. In the bottom right-hand corner, where the blue Zerg is currently spawning, Dragon Phoenix Gaming, he just needs one out of the next 3 games. Get into the finals. Can he do it? Here, on Romantic side, it is Rogue.
And guys, he needs your energy, he needs your cheers, because he is down 0-2 and 1 game away from getting knocked out and getting swept. So, need your energy, guys. Here at the top left, it is Keen. And Peace FGC saying in the chat that it'll be surprising if Keen took a map, but it would be great for him, and I absolutely agree. I mean, at least getting 1 map, right?
Yeah, it will be massive getting 1 map. It will be absolutely crazy. Like, it will come like winning the tournament for him, really. It's not like because, oh my god, Keen is such a bad player. No, absolutely not. It's that he just came back and he's playing against Rogue, which is the most punishing player that ever existed. If you're going to do 1 mistake, Rogue is there to punish you. That's just how he plays. And that's why he's so good at ZVC.
Yeah. Now, I do find it interesting that, you know, because Rogue has been playing so Roach heavy as of late, that all of a sudden in this series hasn't really gone for Roaches at all. In fact, he's gone for Mutalisk Tech twice in a row.
And that's pretty dirty, if you want to know. Because it's really punishing of a player who's not really used to this style. And he's really pushing Keen to his max with this meta play, in my mind.
We'll see if Rogue does switch back into the Roach kind of composition here. You know,
that positioning for the third archery might prompt him into believing that, actually.
Oh yeah, because it's a shorter reinforcement point, right? So the Roaches can kind of go across the map a bit quicker. So yeah, we might actually see Roaches coming out for Rogue this time around.
And he also went for the Clash opener with the Overlord skip to get a faster third and delay metabolic boosts by just 15 seconds, which is the most standard kind of way of playing the matchup. So we're not going to see any Spire Rush this time, which once again might mean that Rogue is more into a larva heavier style, which might mean one of 2 things: a lot of Banelings, a lot of Roaches.
All right, there we have it.
It's going to be Roaches.
Yep. And I like this because it kind of helps Rogue get some practices with different playstyles or different builds at the very least, so that maybe once he goes into, like, let's say a GSL Season 2, he has more builds under his belt to use and pull out.
Oh, a little bit lag.
Oh, let's see who is lagging. It is Enki. Oh man, Enki, of course, is our Spanish caster on the other stream. Yeah, I mean he's like streaming from Korea, so I think it's even further. Wait, is it the same? I'm not sure. I'm not sure how the ping is, but I'm sure it's not great.
Yeah, it is 300 for me, so I don't think it's much better for him.
Yeah, that's true. Oh boy, cynical death in the chat saying Enki is the new Emil.
Yeah, it is. Oh, don't make me think about him.
So savage.
The last stream at Home Story Cup, in which he just stood up and went away, it always brings a tear to my eye. That was a great moment. That was a great event.
Alright, 4 Hellion drop does go into the main base, and oh man, this could be the thing that can kind of maybe possibly get Keen a win here. But oh my god, so far very few drones. I mean, I feel like it should have gotten so much more.
These defense by Rogue, guys, take this replay, buy the replay pack and watch this over and over and over again if you ever lose to aliens, because this defense was absolutely perfect. The way he was boxing those drones was absolutely insane. There's a drop incoming on the third base, but Rogue does not care about that. He has Ravagers on the other side of the map, and they're about to take some heads. Yeah, that is a beautiful defense, a beautiful bite back. Rogue, just what an incredible player he is, Snoopy.
Yeah, this is unfortunately gonna end really quickly. I mean, we had 2 decent macro games in the past 2 games, but Rogue ready to finish it off. Unfortunately for Keen, not going to be able to get a single win and bring out the broom, because it is a clean sweep here.